I'm gonna tell you something that might sting a little, but it's the truth. Every time you hit the snooze button, you're practicing a habit of resistance. You're training yourself to delay your own life. And that one tiny decision, those extra 10 or 20 minutes in bed, might feel harmless in the moment, but it sets the tone for everything else you do that day. Because if you can't get yourself out of bed when you say you will, how the hell are you supposed to trust yourself with the bigger things? That was the first realization I had. I wasn't tired. I was undisciplined. I didn't need more sleep. I needed more courage. The first morning I tried this, I was lying in bed, alarm going off, and I immediately felt the urge to hit snooze. That autopilot voice kicked in. Just 5 more minutes, you'll feel better, it's fine. That voice is seductive. It sounds like comfort, but it's really sabotage. It's the same voice that's kept you stuck, made you procrastinate, told you you're not ready. But guess what? That voice is not your friend. It's fear, and fear has one job: to keep you exactly where you are, comfortable, familiar, safe, but also stuck. That's why I use the 5-second rule. 5-4-3-2-1. Go. No thinking, no hesitating, no negotiating with the excuses. Just move. Action cuts through all that mental noise, and when I stood up, even though I was groggy and my bed looked like heaven, I felt this rush of control come over me. I just won the first battle of the day. I didn't delay. I didn't make excuses. I acted, and here's what the science tells us: the brain loves patterns. It builds neural pathways based on repetition. So the more you snooze, the more that behavior gets hardwired. But when you break the pattern, when you physically move instead of mentally argue, you start rewiring your brain. That's habit formation, and it doesn't take months to feel a difference. It can happen in days. I felt it by day 3. Not because I was suddenly a morning person, but because I was becoming a person who keeps promises to herself. Think about this. When your alarm goes off, your body's ready to wake up. Your cortisol levels are rising. Your brain is alerting you to get started. But when you snooze, you confuse your system. You start a new sleep cycle that you can't finish, which leaves you groggier than if you just got up. It's called sleep inertia. You feel more tired because you interrupted a cycle your body couldn't complete. So not only are you wasting time, you're making yourself more exhausted. Crazy, right? Now, this isn't about becoming a 5 a.m. productivity robot. It's not about beating yourself up if you sleep in. This is about one decision, one moment where you tell yourself, I am the kind of person who gets up when I say I will. That's identity-based change. That's confidence in the making, because confidence isn't built when life is easy. It's built when you do the thing you didn't want to do, when you get uncomfortable and move anyway. And here's something else. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So when I started winning that first moment of the day, I started showing up differently in everything else. I wasn't dragging into work. I wasn't late for my commitments. I wasn't second, guessing myself all day. I was alert, grounded, present, because I had already done the hardest part. I faced resistance and chose action. That one habit, it changed my self-image. I stopped seeing myself as someone who was bad at mornings or not disciplined. I started seeing myself as someone who follows through, who shows up, who doesn't need to feel motivated to act. And the ripple effect of that, massive. I started eating better. I started making time for exercise. I had more patience with my family, all because I took ownership of the first decision of my day. So if you want to change your life in a week, stop snoozing your alarm. Stop snoozing your dreams. The moment your alarm goes off, count down from 5 and launch yourself out of bed like your life depends on it. Because in a way, it does. You're not just waking up early. You're waking up to who you're capable of becoming, and that right there is the beginning of everything. Let me guess, when you hear someone say exercise changed my life, your brain probably pictures a hardcore gym session, 90 minutes of sweat, complicated routines, or someone who's already in shape. Let me stop you right there. That's not what I'm talking about. What changed my life wasn't training like an athlete. It was 10 minutes, 10, that's it. And I don't mean intense, perfect, choreographed movement. I mean just move your body. That's all I committed to. And it flipped my energy, my mood, and my motivation. The truth is, your body is the most powerful tool you have to change your mind. Most people try to think their way into feeling better. They sit on the couch, overwhelmed, scrolling through their phones, saying, "I wish I felt more motivated. I need to get out of this funk. Or maybe tomorrow I'll feel like doing something." Let me tell you something, motivation doesn't show up first. Action comes first. You don't wait to feel good to move. You move and then you start to feel good. I didn't feel like getting off the couch that first day. In fact, I had a dozen reasons why I couldn't. I was tired. I had work to do. It was raining, but I said to myself, "It's just 10 minutes. You can do 10 minutes." I set a timer. I put on music and I walked in place. Yep, that's it. I walked around my living room. After 5 minutes, my breathing picked up. My heart rate elevated. I started to feel alive, and here's the thing that shocked me. I started to feel proud of myself. That pride, that energy, it changed everything. What I didn't realize until later is that I was tapping into something deeper, science. When you move your body, you release endorphins. These are your brain's natural feel, good chemicals. 10 minutes of movement can trigger them. You also get a little spike in dopamine, the reward chemical, which boosts motivation. Your brain lights up. Your focus sharpens. Your mood lifts. You don't just feel physically better. You feel emotionally and mentally stronger, and all it took was 10 minutes. Let me be very clear. You don't need a gym membership, workout clothes, or a fancy app. You don't even need a plan. You just need to move. Stretch your arms over your head. Do a few jumping jacks. Take a walk around the block. Put on your favorite song and dance like no one's watching. Because here's the truth. No one is watching. No one's judging you. This is for you. And when you stop trying to do it perfectly, you actually start doing it consistently. I used to think I had to do it all or nothing. If I couldn't fit in an hour workout, I'd skip it altogether. But that's a trap. That's perfectionism disguising itself as discipline. What you need is momentum, and momentum is built by showing up even in small ways, especially in small ways. 10 minutes of movement told my brain, hey, we're doing this now. We're a person who moves. And that identity shift, it was subtle, but powerful. Over the course of that week, I noticed something else. Movement became my reset button. If I was stressed, I moved. If I was overwhelmed, I moved. If I was stuck in my head, spiraling with overthinking, I got up and walked. And every time, without fail, I felt better afterward. Not because my problems magically disappeared, but because I was different. I was clearer, calmer, and more capable of dealing with whatever was in front of me. Movement is a signal to your nervous system that you are safe and in control. It snaps you out of paralysis and puts you back in your body. It grounds you. It gives you access to a sense of power that no amount of thinking can give you. And the best part, it's always available. No matter where you are, no matter how you feel, you can choose to move. By day 5, I wasn't even negotiating with myself anymore. I looked forward to it. 10 minutes of movement became a ritual, a gift I gave myself. It wasn't about losing weight or chasing a goal. It was about reconnecting with my body. And when you connect with your body, you reconnect with your life. So if you want to feel better, do better, and show up stronger this week, start with this. Get up, set a timer, and move. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel like it. 10 minutes, that's your challenge, that's your medicine, that's your power move. You give your body 10 minutes and it'll give you back your momentum every single time. You want to change your life. Then you've got to stop letting your mind run the show unchecked. The truth is, most people walk around all day dragging mental baggage behind them. Unprocessed emotions, half-finished thoughts, open mental loops, old stories on repeat. That chaos in your head, it weighs you down even when you don't realize it. You wake up anxious, overwhelmed, already behind, and you don't know why. I'll tell you why. Because your brain is cluttered. That's where journaling comes in. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, "I'm not a writer," let me stop you. This is not about being a writer. This is not about grammar or spelling or sounding poetic. This is about clearing mental space. It's about giving your thoughts somewhere to go besides spinning endlessly in your head. One page, just one. That's what I started with, and that one page a day. It shifted how I think, how I feel, and how I show up. The first morning I did it, I didn't know what to say. My brain told me I had nothing to write, but I forced myself to put pen to paper. I wrote exactly what I was thinking. I don't know what to write. I feel tired. I don't want to go to work. I'm worried about money. And you know what happened. The truth came out. I saw it in black and white. Things I had been avoiding, fears I hadn't admitted, stress I didn't even know was affecting me, and just writing it down made it feel smaller, contained, manageable. There's something powerful about putting your thoughts on paper. It externalizes them. What feels overwhelming in your mind becomes concrete, visible, and real when you write it. It allows you to create distance between you and your thoughts. Because guess what? You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. When you write them down, you stop being controlled by them, and you start taking control of them. Journaling also gives you clarity. Most of the time, we're confused not because we don't know what we want, but because we've never slowed down long enough to ask ourselves. When you take 5 minutes to fill a page, you create space to check in. What do I need today? What's weighing on me? What am I proud of? What can I let go of? These aren't just fluffy questions. These are the questions that help you reconnect with yourself. And that reconnection, that's where confidence lives. By day 3 of this habit, I noticed something unexpected. I wasn't carrying so much mental weight throughout the day. I wasn't reacting as quickly. I had more patience. I was more grounded. Because I had already processed half the junk that would have otherwise followed me around all day. One page of writing gave me emotional armor. It didn't solve all my problems, but it made me better equipped to handle them. And here's something else I learned. You don't need to write about the same thing every day. Some mornings I vented. Others I made lists. Sometimes I asked myself one simple question and answered it honestly. Some days I wrote affirmations. Other days I wrote about a memory, a win, or something I was scared of. The point is not what you write. The point is that you write, because it creates a daily habit of self-awareness. And self-awareness is the first step to any kind of growth. People always ask, what should I journal about? And I tell them, don't overthink it. Start where you are. If you're angry, write it. If you're confused, explore it. If you're inspired, capture it. If you're blank, write that. The power is in the act of showing up. It's in the consistency, because every day you do it, you're sending a message to your brain, I matter enough to check in. That message builds self-trust, and here's the kicker. This habit takes less than 10 minutes. You can do it while your coffee brews. You can do it in the car before you walk into work. You can do it before bed to clear your mind. There is no perfect time, no perfect journal, no perfect system. All you need is a pen, paper, and honesty. 1 page a day. That's all it takes to start understanding yourself better. To stop reacting on autopilot and start responding with intention. To process what you're feeling instead of suppressing it. To recognize patterns. To discover what's actually going on beneath the surface. That page becomes your mirror, your coach, your safe space. And when you give your thoughts room to breathe, you do too. You don't need to write a book, just write a page and watch what it unlocks. There's something terrifying and liberating about saying the truth out loud. And I'm not talking about some big dramatic confession or some life-altering realization. I'm talking about the simple, everyday truths. The ones we keep buried because they make us feel exposed, weak, or afraid. But what I've learned is this. When you avoid speaking your truth, you are abandoning yourself. And every time you do that, you chip away at your confidence. You build a life on top of silence, and eventually that silence becomes suffocating. So, I started saying one truth out loud every day, just one. Nothing fancy, nothing rehearsed, just honest. It didn't matter if I said it to a friend, my partner, or to myself in the mirror. What mattered is that I got it out of my head and into the world. The first time I did it, my voice shook. I said, "I'm exhausted, and I don't want to pretend I'm fine today." That was it. One sentence. But it felt like I had opened a valve and released all this pressure I didn't even realize I was holding. Most of us are taught to push through, to smile when we're falling apart, to say "I'm fine," even when we're drowning. We lie to protect others. We lie to protect our image. We lie to avoid confrontation. But what we're really doing is silencing ourselves. And you can't live a free life if your truth is locked inside you. Saying your truth doesn't make you weak. It makes you honest, and honesty is the foundation of real power. Here's what happens when you start speaking the truth. Your nervous system relaxes. Your mind stops spinning. You stop performing. Because the moment you speak the truth, even if it's small, your body knows it. You feel the alignment. You feel the relief. You feel the energy that was trapped in pretending finally returned to you. That's why this habit works so fast. It releases tension you didn't even know you were carrying. One day, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, "I'm scared I'm falling behind." That truth had been gnawing at me for weeks. I was pushing myself hard, pretending I had it together, but deep down, I felt like I was losing control. Saying it out loud didn't magically fix everything, but it gave me clarity. It gave me permission to stop running from what I was feeling, and the moment I said it, I started thinking about what I could do next. Not in panic, but from a place of awareness. The truth became my anchor. What I realized is that your truth doesn't always need a solution. It just needs to be seen, acknowledged, respected, even if it's uncomfortable. Especially if it's uncomfortable, and when you speak it out loud, you start rewriting the story you tell yourself. You go from "I have to be perfect" to "I can be human." You go from "I can't handle this" to "I'm struggling, but I'm still here." That shift in narrative, that's where self-compassion begins. And let's be real, this world doesn't need more people pretending. It needs more people telling the truth so others feel safe to do the same. When you admit something real, you create connection. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's leadership. It's how we heal. It's how we grow. It's how we finally stop hiding. Some days my truth was heavy. I don't feel like I'm enough today. Other days, it was empowering. I'm really proud of how far I've come. Both matter. Both are valid because the goal isn't to be positive all the time. The goal is to be real. The goal is to build a relationship with yourself based on honesty instead of performance. You don't need to announce your truth to the world. You don't have to post it on social media or shout it from a rooftop. You just need to say it out loud to someone you trust, to yourself, into a voice memo, in the mirror. It doesn't matter how, it matters that you do it. Because when you stop lying about how you're doing, you give yourself the chance to actually do something about it. One truth a day, that's it. That's the habit, and it's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Because when you find the courage to speak your truth, you take your power back. You stop pretending, you stop performing, and you start living a life that actually feels like yours, and that changes everything. Let me tell you something that hit me hard when I finally got honest with myself. I was losing the first hour of every single day to my phone. Before my feet even touched the floor, I was already scrolling. Emails, texts, Instagram, news, random headlines I didn't care about. I wasn't waking up. I was plugging in to everyone else's life, everyone else's noise. I wasn't starting my day. I was letting the world hijack it. And I didn't even realize the damage it was doing until I stopped. So I made a rule, 1 hour, no phone, not in my hand, not by my bed, not even for just a quick check. That one simple boundary, 1 hour without my phone in the morning, transformed the way I think, the way I feel, and how I lead myself through the day. It changed my focus. It changed my confidence. And it reminded me that I am in charge of how my day begins. You might be telling yourself the same lies I did. It's my alarm. I need to check my schedule. What if someone needs me? Let me be blunt. If someone truly needs you, they will call. And if the only way you can access your to-do list is by opening a device that throws 37 distractions in your face before you even brush your teeth, then it's time to take your mornings back. Because here's the truth. The first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. When you wake up and immediately flood your brain with other people's opinions, emergencies, and energy, you're training yourself to react instead of lead. You go into flight mode before your brain even fully wakes up. And that means your day starts with anxiety, not clarity, with distraction, not intention. When I committed to this habit, it wasn't easy. The first few mornings, I literally felt twitchy. My hand reached for my phone without thinking, like it was muscle memory. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a bad habit. It was an addiction to being stimulated, to being connected, to being needed, and underneath that, a fear of being still, of facing my own thoughts without a screen to hide behind. But once I pushed through those first few days, I started to feel different, calmer, stronger, more grounded. I had space to think, to feel, to breathe. I started using that first hour to actually connect with myself. I'd journal a page, I'd go for a walk, I'd stretch, I'd drink my coffee slowly instead of gulping it down while scrolling headlines I couldn't control. And for the first time in a long time, I started my days on my terms. That shift was massive. I stopped starting the day by consuming other people's content, and I started creating my own mindset. And guess what? I got more done. I was less reactive. I didn't spiral into stress every time a notification buzzed. Because I had already built a solid foundation before the chaos of the day even began. You don't realize how much power you give away when you let your phone be the first thing you see in the morning. It tells your brain, other people's priorities come before mine. I'm behind. I need to respond, check, scroll, keep up. But when you delay that first hit of digital noise even by an hour, you reclaim that power. You say, my peace matters, my mind comes first. And that decision changes everything. I'm not saying phones are evil. I'm saying boundaries are essential. You need time in your day, especially the start of your day, when the world doesn't get to speak first. You need silence, reflection, intention. That's where your strength lies. And the more you protect that time, the stronger and clearer you become. So try it. Put your phone in another room tonight. Set a real alarm. Wake up and resist the urge to grab your device. Get up, breathe, move, write, sit in the quiet, even if it's uncomfortable, and give yourself that 1 hour to exist without the noise. You'll be amazed at what you hear when you finally stop listening to everything else. Because at the end of the day, your phone doesn't get to decide who you are. You do. And the way you start your morning, that's not just a routine. It's a statement. It's a message to yourself that you matter more than your feed, your inbox, or your notifications. And once you feel what that kind of peace is like, you'll never want to go back. You want clarity, you want peace, you want to reset your mind and show up with energy and focus, then start walking. I'm serious. I know it sounds too simple, but the most powerful shifts often come from the smallest changes. I started taking a 10-minute walk every single day without distractions. No phone, no podcasts, no calls. Just me, the ground beneath my feet, and whatever thoughts decided to show up. And within a week, I realized this wasn't just a walk. It was therapy. It was a breakthrough. When was the last time you were truly alone with your thoughts? Not while multitasking, not while checking your phone, not while filling the silence with noise. Just being. That's what this walk does. It forces you to be present. And the moment you do that, something incredible happens. Your brain starts working for you instead of against you. The fog starts to lift. The stress begins to dissolve, and suddenly, solutions show up where you were only seeing problems. Now look, I'm not asking you to hike a mountain. I'm asking you to carve out 10 minutes. That's it. 10 minutes where you unplug from everything and reconnect with yourself. Because we live in a world where we are constantly stimulated. Notifications, alerts, messages, content, opinions. It never stops. And because it never stops, your mind never gets a chance to reset. So you stay stuck in overthinking, stuck in anxiety, stuck in patterns that don't serve you. But the moment you step outside, breathe in the air, feel your feet on the pavement, and disconnect from the noise, you begin to come back to yourself. At first, I felt weird. No earbuds, no music, no podcast motivation in my ear. Just me and my thoughts. It felt uncomfortable. But that discomfort, that was the doorway to freedom. Because the silence gave me room to hear what was really going on inside. I started noticing the stories I was telling myself. I caught the negative patterns. I had conversations in my head I didn't know I needed. I worked through stress without even realizing it. It wasn't a walk. It was a moving meditation. You don't have to solve all your problems on these walks. You just have to show up for yourself. That's it. This is about building a practice of presence, of coming home to your body, of reminding yourself that you're alive, grounded, and capable of slowing down. And when you do that, every part of your life benefits, your thinking clears up, your mood shifts, your creativity returns, your nervous system calms down, and you start to feel powerful again. Not because you did something complicated, but because you did something intentional. There's science behind this too. Movement activates your brain's prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision making, clarity, focus. Nature reduces cortisol, the stress hormone. Sunlight boosts serotonin, your natural mood stabilizer. You think you need another cup of coffee or more productivity hacks. Maybe, but maybe what you actually need is to go outside, breathe deeply, and just walk. And if you can't get to a trail or a park, who cares? Walk the block, walk the hallway, walk in circles around your living room if you have to. This isn't about where you walk. It's about how, no distractions, no agenda, just a pause button for your brain. A reset, a reminder that your mind doesn't run the show. You do. Some of the best ideas I've had came during these walks, not when I was forcing them, not when I was grinding, but when I was walking, free, unplugged, open, and I know you've felt that too. Those moments where a solution just drops into your head when you're doing something simple, like walking the dog or doing dishes. That's not a coincidence. That's your brain finally having the space to breathe. So here's the challenge, 10 minutes, every day, no phone, no music, just walk. Let your mind wander, let your body move, let the silence speak to you. You'll be shocked at what it has to say. This tiny window of stillness in motion. It's where your power lives. And once you make it a habit, you'll crave it. Because you'll realize it's not just a break from your day. It's a return to yourself. You've got 10 minutes. You have a body that wants to move. You have a mind that needs space. Give it to yourself. Because when you do, everything else gets easier. You show up calmer, clearer, and more in control. And that right there is how change begins, one step at a time. If you want to feel like you're winning at life, stop waiting for big victories and start creating small ones. That was the shift that changed everything for me. I used to roll out of bed, already overwhelmed. The to-do list was long, the day felt like a mountain, and I hadn't even brushed my teeth yet. That energy, it follows you. When your day starts in chaos, in reactivity, in stress, it colors everything. So I flipped it. I made a rule, one small win before 9 a.m., one thing that makes me feel like I'm in control, one action that says, I've got this. This is not about hustling harder. It's about momentum. Confidence isn't something you wake up with. It's something you generate, and you generate it by doing what you said you would do, starting with one small thing, could be as simple as making your bed, sending the email you've been avoiding, drinking a glass of water, meditating for 5 minutes. It's not the size of the win. It's the fact that you did it on purpose. And when you start your day with intention, everything else flows from that. Here's what happens psychologically. When you complete a small task first thing in the morning, you signal to your brain that you're capable, productive, and proactive. You trigger a hit of dopamine, a chemical reward that fuels motivation. That small win becomes the spark, and suddenly, instead of feeling behind, you feel ahead. Instead of reacting to the day, you're leading it. Think about the alternative. You hit snooze 3 times, you grab your phone. You scroll for 20 minutes, already knee deep in someone else's life, someone else's drama. Then you rush to get ready, you skip breakfast, and now you're running late and flustered. That chaos becomes your emotional baseline. It's not that the day is hard, it's that you're not centered when you meet it. That's the difference this habit makes. It roots you in power before the world has a chance to pull you in 1,000 directions. And let me be clear, a small win doesn't have to be impressive to anyone else. It just has to matter to you. For me, sometimes it's journaling a single page. Other days it's walking my dog or clearing my inbox. The key is intentionality. You do it because you chose it, not because you were forced into it. And that choice is what gives you back your agency. It's what reminds you that you are not at the mercy of the day. You are in charge of how it begins. We've been conditioned to think that big wins are the only ones that count. That unless it's a breakthrough, a milestone, a massive achievement, it's not worth celebrating. That's garbage. The truth is, big wins are built on a mountain of tiny ones. And the people who succeed long term, they master the art of small, consistent action. They don't wait to feel motivated. They create momentum, one step at a time. Let's say your small win is 5 minutes of stretching. That 5 minutes tells your body, we're taking care of ourselves today. That energy shows up in how you sit, how you speak, how you lead. You drink a full glass of water, your body feels nourished and alert. You finally respond to that text you've been ignoring. That lingering anxiety lifts. These are micro actions, but they build macro confidence. They add up. The magic isn't in the task, it's in the identity you build. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's always behind. You become the person who starts strong, who follows through, who shows up. That identity shift, that's where the power lies. Because when you believe in your ability to take action, you stop waiting for motivation and start being the kind of person who creates results. So, here's what I want you to do tonight before you go to bed. Decide on one small win you're going to get tomorrow morning. Write it down, make it simple, make it doable. Then, when you wake up, do it. No overthinking, no negotiating, just action. You do that, and I promise, you'll start your day with momentum. You'll build a foundation of confidence before the world even knows you're awake. This habit is so small, most people overlook it. But don't underestimate what it does to your mindset. One small win before 9 a.m. sets the tone. It anchors you in progress, and it proves, day after day, that you are capable of showing up for yourself. And when you do that consistently, there is nothing you can't accomplish. One small win at a time. That's how we build an unstoppable life.